the Galaxy S23 Ultra feels totally different in the hand. It has flat sides this year instead of curved.
The Galaxy S23 Ultra might look similar to last year's model on the outside, but on the inside, it's packed with loads of amazing new features.
What I imagine will become the entire tagline of the S23 Ultra is 200 megapixel main camera. This is a really important jump. Agreed that my S22 Ultra shot did look better. So if what you'd be wanting to do is randomly zooming into objects and buildings hundreds of meters away, I don't think
Whoa. Hey, relax. What's wrong? Oh no, I would never, leave you for this phone that apparently looks the same as all the other generations, like the S22 was great and it looked cool, but the S23 doesn't even look any different. It looks exactly the same. The model is exactly the same. I wouldn't upgrade. It sounds like a waste of money. Why would I do something like that? Okay, but hey, don't be scared. We've been together for like what, 3 or 4 years now? Me and you, all around the world, traveling, taking pictures and videos, and playing all kinds of games together. Don't worry, don't sweat it. I would never, ever, ever leave you for the S23 Ultra. It's simply not worth it. And anyways, I can't afford it. YouTube's not paying me any money. I simply don't have the budget. Where am I gonna get it? Okay? Come on. Don't be scared. We'll be alright. Me and you. You're built to last forever, remember? That's what all flagship phones do. Don't worry. Love at first sight. You'll be alright. Hey. Don't worry. It's okay. It's alright. Just go to sleep. It's alright. Go to sleep. It's okay. I'll see you tomorrow. You'll be alright. Yeah. Shh. No tears. Okay, when should I pre-order? Come on. I didn't cut shit. Oh wait, shit. Here. Wait, yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. See ya. Alright. I see a lot of videos about the S23 Ultra being compared to the S22 Ultra. And look, I don't have all of these technological stuff just sitting around, okay? I don't have an iPhone 14 Pro Max just laying around waiting for me to compare it to the next generation phone. I'm more like you guys, okay? I just owned the phone for about 3 years and I thought, hell, why not upgrade it? This phone seems pretty legit, right? So when I was drafting an idea about what this video should be about, I was a bit stumped. I do not own an S22 Ultra, so I can't compare it to the S23 Ultra like everyone else has been doing, right? I can only really provide you my experiences with the phone, and so I kind of thought, well, what if I did a review of the phone and whether you should upgrade the phone from the perspective of your everyday person, someone who doesn't just have the latest phone sitting around, or someone who doesn't upgrade their phone every year, someone who is more keen towards just purchasing a good phone and upgrade from their old phone. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here in this video, and let's just hope I don't mess up all the tech jargon and don't sound like a complete fool. First off, a lot of people were disappointed with the phone's design. They were saying oh look, the S23 Ultra looked exactly like the S22 Ultra. It's not any different. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. Why didn't Samsung change the design? They're getting lazy. Oh no. Basically what happened was, if I were to hold the S23 Ultra, which I am, and the S22 Ultra, which I am not, I would be basically holding two phones that look identical. And look, I went and looked online, and I did try to look for some differences, and look, and the only thing that I could really determine was that the color selection for the S23 Ultra was different. The Gorilla Glass was just one generation higher, and the phone had what, slightly curvier edges apparently. Those were the major design changes to this phone. And if you were to compare it to the S22 Ultra, yes, it's kind of rubbish, right? That is, it's like nothing. You basically did nothing. But we're not here to do that. Let's look at the phone as it is by itself. If the S22 Ultra in another universe did not exist, or we didn't know what the design was, how we would do that, I don't know, don't worry. But if we were to look at this phone, the S23 Ultra, as it is, you cannot tell me that this design is ugly. I mean, look at that. It's a beautiful rectangle shape, and the back is like, it's just so smooth. You could do it like a whole little like water droplet thing, and then like... Okay, so just to demonstrate the little water thing, I've got the phone here, got some water here, go like this, and it's like there's no water on there whatsoever. Now if I just turn this off for a second so I don't waste it more, I get my hand, and let's say I'm cleaning my hand one day, and I go all caveman mode, and I say, oh whoops, oh shit, I keep touching my phone with my wet, gross, moist hands. And look, what the hell happened? How's that happened? The screen, the back is just... Oh my god, I reckon you play like it. Wow, that's really cool. It looks really cool. That's what I'm trying to get. Is that if we took the phone as it is and didn't compare it to the previous generation, the phone looks spectacular. And look, come on. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And in this case, if it's not ugly, don't drop your baby, right? Like, look, let's take a look at this from my perspective, okay? This is the phone that I had for 3 years. This is what I put up with, okay? This is what, look, you can see the freaking, you can see the camera. And the Word document that I'm using to gather the information so I don't suck when I record. And this, I went from this to this pretty much. Like, that's a big difference for me. I didn't own the S22 Ultra, so I didn't get to enjoy its design at the time when it first released. But now that I have this, and I escaped the S22 Ultra, or basically avoided it, I went from this to this. So from my experience, this is a major design change, and personally, it's a pretty good one. So, the next major thing. Oh my god, I'm sweating. Why am I sweating? Okay, probably the most important aspect of the S23 Ultra is its camera. Who would have thought? Okay, so allow me to read this from what I have written down on my screen from there. The camera features a 12 megapixel selfie camera, a quad camera that features a 12 megapixel ultra wide, 200 megapixel wide camera, 10 megapixel telephoto camera, a camera zoom of up to 100 times, optical image stabilization, autofocus, and a crap ton, and I mean a crap ton, of camera modes. In case you couldn't tell, the camera is the main selling point of this phone. And to be honest, the whole Galaxy Ultra series has always been built and promoted around its crazy crazy cameras. Like, you'll never not hear about the camera when it comes to the S23 Ultra. It's basically the main market selling thing that gets everybody excited. You hear a phone that says 200 megapixels and you're like, what? The camera I'm shooting on right now doesn't even have half of that. How is it in here, you might be wondering? Well, while I was out, I went in ahead and compared what my old, disgusting, gross S20 Plus and what my new beautiful phone does. I went and compared both, the two of them and their cameras, just so you could see the real difference when you go from this to this. With the main camera, you can see that on the S23 Ultra, you definitely get better vibrance and a more balanced view of what you are capturing. While on my S20 Plus, everything appears, overly saturated, there's less attention to detail, and you could argue that it's a bit choppier. As I move the camera around, you can see there is more realism being produced on the Ultra than the S20. If I play with the lighting as well, you will continue to see that the oversaturated aspect on the phone continues on the S20. If I compare the actual images, you can see that the S23 Ultra AI has done a better job processing the information than the S20 Plus. For the 200 megapixel camera, the big selling point of this whole phone, the Ultra actually handles the lighting significantly well. While on the S20 Plus, it has a 64 megapixel camera, which, isn't bad. It does look filtered still in a bit of a weird way, but what I noticed when comparing the two is that the Ultra maintains a more realistic processing of your surroundings. It shows you basically what is happening around you as if you were looking at it with your own eyes. Crazy, I know. On this day, it was slightly cloudy and not at all as bright as the S20 Plus is kind of making it look through its camera. And in my opinion, the S23 Ultra just feels more correct than the filters applied by the S20 AI. I prefer when the camera is actually capturing what the world around you looks like. If you wish to make it look more vibrant, you could always do that through an editing app or something like that. But when you're capturing a photo, it should replicate or attempt to actually seize the moment. It should show you exactly what that moment in time looked like. And that is kind of what I'm noticing with the S23 Ultra compared to the S20 Plus. Whoa. I look sexy on the left. I look a bit strange on the right.
This station
Let's
is
see how the photo compares. This one's not as detailed than the S23. Okay, I am sweating like crazy and it's starting to show. Let's see what I look like at the end of the video. Okay, now let's get to it. Samsung has flexed improvements to its night photography. Thank God. And they've also done it with the astrophotography. However, currently in Australia, it's really cloudy and the moon is non-existent. Okay? If I waited for a night where the moon was actually going to appear, this video would probably be finished by the time the S24 Ultra releases, and that's not good. Okay? So instead, me and my fluffy companion, Poe, are going to take some pictures in the night. Alright? Also, this should demonstrate the microphone a bit, and that'll be good. We can shoot two birds with one stone. Fun. Okay, so Poe's gonna have a little chair here, and we're gonna test the night quality camera. I've got the security light going off to give me some light. Poe is looking very fashionable, as you can see. Alright, let's take a picture. I have to stop the video recording, damn it. Alright, so as a 4:03 and it's at night, Poe is in the dark. He looks pretty good right now, right? And then we snap a picture like that. It loads a bit, and bingo, the picture has been taken. And we let the optimizer do its thing, and it just makes the image a little bit brighter, but overall, looks really good. Now, if the lights are off, if we take a picture of Poe again, it takes a little bit longer, and optimizes. And look at that, the AI makes the whole thing brighter, but it still does look like that we took the picture. Oh no, it actually looks like we took it in the afternoon, kinda. Alright, now, what if we were to do this in 200 megapixel thingos? With the lights off, you have to hold it still. It's loading. We go like this. And it looks extremely grainy. That's because the 200 megapixels need more light. Yeah, that's gonna do its thing, and photo quality doesn't look very good, but you know what? It's not horrible for a night picture, especially on the Samsung. Now, if I turn on, thank you. If we come back down here again and we take a picture of Poe, let's see if it looks any different. It's loading again. It's loading. I actually think that the images look better when it's not optimized, because now, as you can see, he's a bit too bright. Some people might like that, but I personally don't. But the 200 megapixel with the light on, that obviously looks a lot better, because there's just more information and more light for the camera to capture, and it makes your images look less, well, shit. Okay, now regarding the video, it is a bit more straightforward than taking pictures. I will say that there are less things to really worry about when it comes to this, from my perspective. I'm not an expert, but I'm giving you my personal review. You know this, why am I explaining it? Okay, so from my experience, I have hated Samsung's videos for so long. Okay, I went to a Bruno Mars concert, and my S20 Plus captured probably the worst video that I could have ever attempted to take in my life, even though I did try to fix it. Anyways, it looked like this, okay? And then on the other hand, my girlfriend with her iPhone 13 got this. And that was significantly better. You can see Bruno Mars. For me, it was just like splashy lights. But with the S23 Ultra, there have been significant video improvements that I am very excited for. For starters, the stabilization is so much nicer. If you look at the two videos I shot on my S20 Plus and S23 Ultra respectively, there is less shaking on the Ultra and the video comes off a lot smoother. But Josh, the S20 Plus here produces way better video quality than the Ultra. Nope, I just forgot to change the video setting from Full HD on the Ultra. So, my bad. Okay, now, the Ultra also features an 8K FPS option for video, and I must say, it is incredible how smooth it is. 30 frames per second compared to just 24 on my S20 Plus is definitely a lot nicer and smoother, as you can see. Okay, I also just realized I need to take the videos at night as well, because I did them in the day, but I didn't do them at night. Okay, how am I gonna do that with Poe? I have no idea. Maybe I'll do some action scenes with Poe. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, that's how we're gonna test it. We're gonna test the 8K and then we're gonna test the 4K, and the rest no one really cares about. No one's gonna use them when we have better options. The plane is going off. Debut. Okay, let's test out the 8K in 30 frames per second at night and see how well it performs. Let's move Poe back so we get a good action scene of Poe. Everything good? Don't diss the shorts. Okay, so in 8K you need something, you know, maybe you might shoot a film, a movie, an action scene. It'd be really cool, right? So you need to do something in order to test how good it is, and we're gonna just do this. How'd that look? That was Poe in 8K flying through the moon. Now, what if we do Pro in 4K? How will it look? Will it look great? I think it'll actually end up being smoother because in 4K there's 60 FPS. And therefore that means, I don't know, it'll be smoother. But if we were to kick Pro like that, oh, yeah, the 4K is great. Okay, it's getting worse. Okay, so the battery. The S23 Ultra utilizes a 5000 milliamp hour battery. Now, you might be wondering why that is so impressive. Well, as a standalone factor, it really isn't. But if you consider the new Snapdragon chips that they used in this generation, and the fact that Samsung has removed 128GB storage for the Ultra, replacing it with the 256GB model, it means the battery goes to a lot less stress. You know, and suddenly your phone has lasted 5 hours without even sniffing the 70% region. Like, I'm not even joking. 1% on this phone feels literally like a year. It just doesn't go down, and that's crazy. Now, while we're on the topic of Snapdragons, the phone is fast, thanks to it. It is efficient, smoother, and like, I just want to appreciate and God bless and thank Samsung for finally removing the Exynos in these S Ultra series. The Snapdragon is definitely a very big improvement to these phones, and the fact that all of the S23 Ultras will have it will mean that you get to experience some smooth ass movements. Okay, the display of the S23 Ultra features, quote, and I quote, a dynamic AMOLED 2-time display with a 6.8-inch diagonal, a Quad HD Plus resolution of 1440 by 3088 pixels, a 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus certification, and a peak brightness of 1800 nits. Now, what does any of that mean? I have no idea. But in this phone comparison, you will see the difference, and that is all you need to know. If you look at the side-by-side comparison, you can see that the S23 Ultra has a brighter screen and is evidently a lot more vibrant. Okay, so the big question is here. Should you buy the S23 Ultra? Let's remember that the initial idea behind this video was to offer insight from the perspective of a person with an older model looking to upgrade, okay? With that said, I believe that if you were like me and had a, I don't know, S10, S20, or heck, even the iPhone 10 or 11, then the question itself is still incredibly difficult to determine. We must not forget that at the time of making this video, the S23 Ultra, with a 512GB storage and 12GB of RAM, is being sold for pre-order at, I'm not even joking, $1,949 with the added very generous bonus of $250 voucher that they say is free. Which, by the way, is, in case you couldn't tell, it isn't free if you have to spend almost $2,000. You just get a few free cases like what I did, some chargers. Hell, you could even get a watch or a discounted tablet if you really want to. It's up to you. But look, the price, the retail price for this phone is actually going to be $2,249 after pre-order. And mind you, that is crazy. When I purchased this phone, it was discounted by my university for a price of $1,700, and I still got that $250 voucher for free. Now, although it was still not cheap, I would still say it's significantly a lot less, and I didn't have to pay $1,949 for it, like if I had gone directly to Samsung. Okay, so how do we determine the issue of whether or not you should buy this phone? Well, let's propose this question instead. How well will the S23 Ultra last in the next few years? As of late, I'm pretty sure plenty of people are now noticing that changing your phone every year is kind of pointless, especially when the changes each year are hardly visible. For your average person like myself. The S23 Ultra already has 200 megapixel camera, a main camera. Like, you don't even need half of that. I already told you how my DSLR camera doesn't even have a fraction of 200 megapixels. You know, you don't need 200 megapixels for a phone to have a good camera, basically. I believe the iPhone 14 has what a 48 megapixel, and it shoots amazingly too. But my point is that from the S23 series onwards, and even other major flagships, the changes are only going to get less and less and less and less significant, while the prices are going to keep going up and up and up and up, right? I think as a phone by itself, the S23 Ultra is actually quite fantastic. The new chip, the larger storage, better battery optimization, the phone is built like the phone has a better camera. All of these factors together, you know, the phone is built to last. Like, I can't support that with any like experiments or studies to say, oh, in 3 years time the S23 Ultra is still gonna last over 10 hours on its current battery. I can't say that because there have been no studies to prove it. But on paper, with all the specs that we have right now and how I've experienced the phone in like the first about 2 weeks now, Bixby, please go away. The phone is incredible. It basically really looks like it's going to be that kind of phone that will last. Remember, my S20 Plus lasted me 3 years and counting. It's still going. I'm not throwing it away. Okay? I'll find something to do with it. And it will still last. And like I said, the phone came out 3 years ago. Imagine how long a phone that came out today, or how even on the 2nd of February, how long will that phone last? So yeah, just food for thought. Okay, so now perhaps a good decision to make would be to wait for the prices to go down. I know everyone gets excited when new phones release and they're like, oh, I must buy it, I must flex. But if we're gonna continue that, the idea from a perspective of someone who just wants to upgrade their phone and, you know, probably doesn't have a lot of money to spend it immediately, you will be rewarded if you wait. These phones do discount over time, and definitely give it time. When phones release straight away, they're really expensive, so maybe find a plan or something along the line. Just wait. It's worth the buy, but not at that price, I don't think. Okay, now if the price is still gonna deter you, you could settle for other S23 models, like the base S23, the S23 Plus. Those are still gonna be very good phones with very decent cameras, battery optimization and all that stuff. They're still going to be very solid phones, and they're going to be from the latest generation, a lot cheaper too, so definitely consider that as an option. Don't shrug them off just because they don't have the word Ultra at the very end and don't cost you a fortune. It's not necessarily that worth it. Now, I will say this though, if your phone looks like this, or like this, hell, even like this, or maybe even this, and you don't want to spend that amount of money, I mean, you could go for any of the older S22 series, even the Google Pixel would do. But if they look like anything like this, I'm gonna please ask you kindly to buy a phone from any company within the last 3 years. Like, don't go holding on to these. They're more likely to explode, if anything, in this day and age. Change it, treat yourself, but be mindful with your money, of course. Because if the tech doesn't, you know, obviously if the new tech doesn't pique your interest, then what's the point, right? You're not, like I said, you don't need 200 megapixels in the camera for it to be considered good. And if you're not even too fancy on photography, you probably won't need this. You could definitely settle for something even better, not even better, but you could definitely settle for something less and still get, you know, a good experience. That's what these phones kind of are like these days. Okay, so overall, my answer is extremely based on individual circumstance or interests, you know, unsurprisingly. I wish I could give you all an objective yes or no, but sadly, when you're talking about an expensive phone with awesome features, it will always come down to money. And that factor alone makes any decision very circumstantial. It's very dependent on what you have, like how much you're earning and stuff like that. And I'm not the bank, I can't tell you whether or not you can afford the phone. But I will just like generally say, wait. It's a very good phone without a doubt, but it is very expensive. So, and if that bothers you, probably just wait for discounts and sales to come. Because look, this phone's not going anywhere, and you shouldn't fear when the S24 comes out and you're like, oh my god, my phone has been replaced. It's not a big deal in this day and age. Like really, if you're walking around with the, I don't know, even the S22 and the S23 is out, they're both very similar phones. It's just all of a sudden this one has 200 megapixels, this one only does 100 megapixels, this one might have Exynos in it, this one has Snapdragon. For an average person, they won't notice the difference. Quite literally, you won't notice the difference if you're the average person. But if you're like maybe myself, who really likes taking pictures and is quite picky with certain things, or if you're really into like having the most latest up-to-date stuff, this is your phone. This right now is heavenly. No, I will not refute that. But anyways, I'm rambling now. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed my first review, and if you did like it, I'm going to kindly ask that you like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, and recently we hit 100 subscribers, so big ups. I will have a celebration video coming soon. I'm just working on this one first. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.